Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to part 70 of the Let's Play SpellForce 3. In the last part, we had a talk with the Undergast, and we found out more about him. Now we're going to go talk to Rohan and find out more about him. We are also going to finish up the level up, which is going to be done by willpower. Willpower seems to do... Okay, his actual spells are intelligent, but willpower makes his healing better, so fuck that. Also, what did we get for level 3 healing? We get regeneration now as well. So our healers are gonna be awesome, is what it's saying.
So, I guess we have some talking to do, don't we?
You knew about my mother, didn't you? That's what you hinted at back at the forge before we set out to the Eye.
Well, the answer is yes and no. I had suspicions. Let us call it that. But they weren't enough to go on, and I had no idea your mother was connected to the Bloodburn.
You should have told me.
Is that so? And exactly what should I have told you? That I believe you might be the result of your father's experiments? That you're the offspring of some long-dead, forgotten race? Tell me, Tahar, what for? I mean, at best, you wouldn't have believed me. And at worst, it would have cost you your sanity. So no, I don't think I should have told you. I didn't know if these suspicions had any substance at all, and I would have been at great risk, especially back then when you were still part of the rebellion.
Where did these suspicions come from? Did my father tell you?
No, and he never found out that I knew. Your father... I don't need to tell you how meticulous he was, do I? That's why he always kept notes of his experiments and studies. I found one, a notebook. The story's actually quite simple. Your father had gone out to meet with Aolat Iskander, and had tasked me with cleaning up his laboratory.
Really? He never let me into his laboratory.
I know, and he wasn't exactly trustworthy towards me, neither. But you know Asamo. His mood was never what you'd call stable. One day, he'd think the entire rebellion had schemed against him. The next day, he told us that we'd change the world. It was part of his charisma, I guess. Sometimes I think the reason why the Mage Rebellion became so big was less of Asamo's magical powers, rather than his ability to create emotions in his followers. But we digress. So I had found this small booklet on his table. It didn't look important in any way, yet I was immediately curious. I opened it and started reading.
What was in there?
His experiments in the Eye. The ancient woman, as he called her. Your creation, these waxwork figures which he tried to infuse with life. It was disturbing. And at the same time, fascinating, as you can imagine.
That book. Did it say anything about how this ritual worked? Andrew said something about how the Shaper is conceived differently.
I don't think it can be compared to how two humans reproduce, if that's what you're thinking. But as for the details, I don't know. As I said, I barely had 1 hour, and I only got to the chapter about you in the very end.
Do you still have that book?
No, of course not. I couldn't even read through all of it, else your father would have noticed that I had done nothing of what he had tasked me with, and I have no idea where it is now.
I figured. So, why did he, well, create me? My mother said it was to gain access to the Archfire.
Yes, I think that was the main reason. Though I couldn't help but notice a certain, I don't know, warmth in his words when he described his plans.
Was there?
I know it sounds cynical, Tahar, but yes, there was. Still, I don't think you were just a tool to him. You weren't. Tell me, Tahar, knowing all that, how does it make you feel?
Well, it tells me that my choice to betray him was the right one. I was never sure if Asamo was really the madman people thought he was. Now I am.
Yes, I guess you do. Either way, I think we both need some time to think. As I said, Tahar, I'm sorry that I didn't tell you earlier. but I simply didn't know what to do.
That's alright, shit stick. We'll be fine. And last but not least, Iana. Or Iana. Yeah, is it Iana? Yeah, Iana. So once we talk to her... Oh yeah, we still need to upgrade this... Oh, Jesus Christ. He has an affinity... Oh, for fuck's sake. We're probably going to get him down the warfare tree just because it seems to be... Yeah, it's his unique one, so obviously that's what we're going to do. But we'll figure that out later. Also, he uses a greatsword, doesn't he? Yeah, the piercing greatsword. I was going to say, oh, but I have a... Yeah, I don't have a weapon anymore. I got rid of it ages ago. Fuck. Anyway, we'll talk to Iana and we get her amazing ability to dream rape people, I think that is. That's what it seems like.
What do we need? Now would you...
Yes, Corporal? How can I help?
Well, there's something I've been meaning to ask you. How did you become an assassin?
Why do you want to know?
Because I want... Your...
Because she needed the coin, and already had...
So...
Alright, so we've already had this conversation. Let's skip this one.
So, tell me...
He lost his vision.
Either way.
Goodbye.
Yes, Corporal?
About you being an assassin. You said that you might be willing to tell me more about that at another time. How about now?
I'm still not certain. The question really is, do you want to know? It might change something.
Such as?
Your perception of me. It is your choice.
Well, I wouldn't have asked otherwise. Tell me.
All right. Where should I begin? Do you remember what I told you about that man who bought me from the Greyfell Bazaar? My owner? I also told you that after an incident, he discovered my talents and made me an assassin.
I remember. But what does that have to do with your morality?
It's complicated. The incident took place at a festivity. A lot of highly influential people were there, servants of the crown, wealthy merchants, nobles. My master knew all of Greyfell's elites. As always, at these festivities, it was my and the other slaves' responsibility to ensure the guests' well-being. It must have been close to midnight when a man took me into his chambers. I'd learned to play along years ago, because resisting only made it worse. This time, however, was different. For some reason, that man wanted me to tell him that I loved him. I did, but he kept on telling me that I should say it like I really mean it. When I couldn't, he got angrier and angrier and started choking me. I had almost lost consciousness when I felt something break. I don't know how else to put it. It was as if my mind simply cracked open, like a crystal ball smashed against a mirror. And all of a sudden, that man and I weren't separate entities anymore.
I don't follow.
My magic, my dreamweavery, that's when it broke free. You probably don't know this, but the only way to become a dreamweaver is by shattering your mind. You are opening yourself to the thoughts and emotions of others, but you lose your own.
Wait, Dreamweavers don't feel and think?
No, we do. But it's differently than normal people. Me. The Iana you're talking with is the result of long work and studying of human behavior. I know how to blend in, to seem like I'm just like you. But the world inside my head is an entirely different one. Again, it is almost impossible to put into words if you're not a dreamweaver yourself.
What happened to the man?
I killed him. It wasn't a conscious choice, looking back. I even think that shattering my mind was my body's way of ensuring survival. I closed my eyes, reached out for the man's mind, and just crushed it. The man gasped, lost balance, and fell right off the bed. He wasn't dead yet, but unable to move. Like a puppet rid of its strings. At first I was disoriented. But then I felt it, for the first time. The urge.
To kill him?
Yes. To massacre him. Hear his screams. To see his life taken by my hand. I grabbed a lantern that was standing on a bedside table and knelt over him, and... well, you can picture the rest. To get back to your original question, that urge, it stuck with me. I think that the moment when my mind shattered and I became a dreamweaver was what unlocked it. Ever since then, I've found violence and bloodshed to be ecstatic, erotic even. And when I kill someone, like I killed that man, I feel alive. Actually, it's one of the few times I am capable of feeling anything at all.
Huh. And this is why you became an assassin?
Yes. My master introduced me into the craft. Probably because he knew that my dreamweavery had changed me. I wasn't just a slave child anymore. I was a weapon now. More than that, even. I needed what these new tasks my master sent me on provided me with. It had become a basic need of mine. Of course, I briefly considered changing my profession after my master had his accident. But I didn't. Killing is something I need, as much as a child needs the love of his mother. If I don't feed my urge, I will die. Not physically, but mentally. I just know this.
But is there no way to cure you? To return your mind to its original state?
No, there isn't.
What about your victims? Don't you ever feel guilt?
Once again, Tahar, I do not feel emotions the way you do. Of course I wonder if I made a mistake, but my reflections are purely based on theory. But then again, I don't accept just any contract. The way Leonider described you, you are a monster in human disguise. And that's the first principle I try to live by. Criminals first. The second one is never kill a mother or a child, regardless of the pay.
What? No children? How noble.
There's no need for sarcasm. I know that my restrictions may seem ridiculous to you.
But what if you're wrong? If you kill an innocent?
That has happened before, and it will happen again. You see, I do not consider myself some kind of vigilante, some kind of judge. Ultimately, I know that I am what society would call a murderer, and that I do what I do for myself, above all else.
Well, that was definitely not what I was expecting.
I can imagine.
That's a lot to take in.
I know. Now, tell me, Tahar. Do you regret asking me this question? Knowing all this, do you think I'm a monster?
You're not.
Really? That's unexpected. Anyway, I would like some time for myself now. I hope you understand.
Oh, okay, alright, you can go be a cunt then, because you don't want me to fucking have your special ability, you fucking pansy-ass Paul. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, we're gonna go give these guys their level up. Fuck, we'll just give you all of... Oh, fuck, okay, we'll just... I'm saving that point. I mean, Constitution's the only thing he really needs, so we'll just give him Constitution. And Aonir. Oh, yep. Well, of course. So what's these abilities? So this is Dexterity. Aura's, where the fuck am I? Where the...
Will do.
Okay, I am up there. So what's this? Well, yeah, so we got the Field Marshal. Auras are permanently active as long as they are placed in one of your ability slots. Okay, so basically only has one attack, so just level them all, basically. And yeah, since he has 3 abilities, I'll wait. He uses a greatsword, so I'll just get him there. Dexterity, strength, and that's it. There we go. That should be the best way to upgrade him.
What's
What's next?
Alright, let's go get ourselves to see our mother's body. Because that's the only thing we've got left to do before we progress the quest, or main quest, and kill this cunt. Fucking knew that guy was a bad idea. See, I fucking knew it, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah, I played along. Because that's quite literally what's the point of the games, you know.
Interesting. Let's see.
See, ladies and gentlemen, when you're lazy, you use a portal. See, sometimes I actually forget that. Like, this Let's Play would probably be about 10 parts shorter if I remembered that I could teleport through those. So much shorter.
To this day, the Shaper's magical and technological prowess remains unrivaled.
It doesn't remain unrivaled because I'm here, therefore not unrivaled.
Got it.
Wait, where the fuck's my mother's body?
Tahar, thank Nihal if you're awake. For a while, I wasn't sure you'd make it. How do you feel? Out on the battlefield, we didn't really get the chance to talk.
I just found out that my mother is a Shaper and that she's still alive. And now Rondar Lacaine took her. How do you think I feel?
Bad, I assume. Sorry, that was probably a stupid question to ask. It's a tragedy. The purity on the loose, with the power of the Archfire in the Harbinger's hands. Who could have seen that coming? For what it's worth, I'm sorry I had to go through this. I truly am.
I always had my doubts about Lacaine. Only I didn't expect this to happen.
I figure.
Be that as it may, all that matters now is that we stop him. What about you, Iskrim? I doubt whatever bargain you struck with Lacaine still stands.
You're still here, so I guess you aren't planning on leaving.
Me? No, of course not. Where would I go, Tahar? There's no way of knowing what the Purity would do if they caught me. He wanted to kill you, so maybe Lacaine doesn't want to leave any witnesses. Not to mention that we're still in the ancient Shaper city, full of marvels waiting to be discovered.
Well, I'm glad you're able to see it that way.
A frown hasn't helped anyone yet, has it? There's, one more thing I wanted to ask you. It's about your mother. About Andra.
Ask.
I'm not sure how to say this, but she was a Shaper. A living Shaper.
Don't talk about her as if she's already dead. Lacaine only trapped her.
Of course. Sorry, I meant no offense. See, Tahar, all tragedy aside, you have to understand how fascinating this is. A Shaper who survived through the Aeons. And as if that weren't enough, you even turn out to be related. I have so many questions, Tahar, so many questions. Iria said at the moment Andra and you melded, she made you see something. Fragments of her past. Now, I can't help but wonder, what was it? Did you see Mullendir in all its former glory?
I didn't see anything. It's more like I suddenly have that sense of familiarity. Especially here.
But that's even more exciting. She must have transferred some of her memories onto you. I wonder if that's part of this melding ritual. Look, Tahar, I'm not sure how to say this, but how would you feel about it if I examine her? There's so much we could learn from her, even if her mind has left her body.
What do you mean by examine? We're not talking about a dissection, are we?
What? No, of course not.
Why? What are you hoping to gain from that?
You mean apart from being able to examine the body of a living Shaper? There's much we could learn. Maybe we could even find something that helps us fight Lacaine.
If you really think it helps, all right, do it.
You really just said that? Point B, Half. Thank you. I'll talk to Undergast as soon as possible. His knowledge will be a great help. It'll be a while before we can start, but we'll do it as soon as possible.
Okay, so where the fuck is my mother's body? Okay, yep. We're going to be spending the next fucking 2 parts looking, ladies and gentlemen. I can fucking see it. But at least we've, we're going to get something out of my mother, well, my character's, like, Tahar's mother's being, hidden, or, like, her mind being taken. If we can find something to beat Lacaine, as long as his mother doesn't die or isn't like adversely affected because of this, I'm completely okay with it. But where the fuck is she's in the Nexus?
Understood.
Okay, you can close the portal now. Nope. Okay,
What's
that
next?
the Godstone is now forever open. See, I didn't think she'd be here. So where the fuck is she? Okay, we'll go check over this room.
Will do.
Yeah, there she is. See, fucking called it. But ladies and gentlemen, we'll have to do the next part. If you guys enjoyed, see you guys next part. See you guys then.